You're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Zach Bechtold and Matt Franks. If you'd like to learn more about the Bearded Theologians, you can go online at beardedtheologians.com, where we have past podcasts, blogs, and a couple items for sale. So check us out, beardedtheologians.com. Thank you for listening, and enjoy this week's show. You're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Matt Franks
and Zach Bechtold.
So this week on the podcast, we're taking a look at the lectionary again and pulled up Psalm 145, verses 8 through 14. And so Zach, as you, of course, you're going to read it because that's what you do.
I like to read it.
So I'll let you just kick us off here, Zach.
Okay. Psalm 145, verses 8 through 14. The Lord is merciful and compassionate, very patient and full of faithful love. The Lord is good to everyone and everything. God's compassion extends to all his handiwork. All that you have made gives thanks to you, Lord. All your faithful ones bless you. They speak of the glory of your kingdom. They talk all about your power to inform all human beings about God's power and the majestic glory of God's kingdom. Your kingdom is a kingship that lasts forever. Your rule endures for all generations. The Lord is trustworthy in all that he says, faithful in all that he does. The Lord supports all who fall down and straightens up all who are bent low. When I read through that, there's a couple of things that catch my attention. One, it's the beginning there, merciful, compassionate, and patient, and full of faithful love. But that directly falls into that verse 14 there at the end. The Lord supports all who fall down and straightens up all who are bent low. And to me, this psalm is all about God's grace. And often you find in the Psalms, they're either a lament of why God, why, or a celebration of God, you love us so much and you're so faithful. And this is an exception. But I like that it pulls out, here's the compassion and grace that God has for all people, for all of creation. And God is there in our lowest of times when we're stumbling and falling, and in the times when we're just flat wore out and we're having to take a knee to simply regain our breath. God is there to pick us up and keep us moving forward. And to me, that's what grace looks like, allowing us that space to take a knee, to rest, and then to pick us up when we've just completely fallen down.
Yeah, as I look at it, well, that's really, I'm hot. As I look at it, I was thinking of, verse 11 really stuck out to me. They'll speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to all people, of course I'm reading through 12, to make known to all people your mighty deeds and your glorious splendor of your kingdom. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and especially the way that we talk about church in the midst of a global pandemic, and I've been really leaning into, like, hey, the church isn't closed, we're just operating differently, and that God's still working in this world. It just looks differently, and there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah, this is not fun, and like we'd love to be able to gather again, and all the things that we all feel, and the things that we miss, and like that, like acknowledge that we need to lament for that. I mean, I think definitely we could write a song for that right now. But I think about this. I think the things that a lot of Christians struggle with, and it doesn't matter what flavor you are, people have a hard time talking about how God is at work in this world. They do a good job of talking about it when things may not feel right. Like, there's a lot of people that are feeling like, well, God's cursing this world. Like this is it. This is the end times. And those people are, chicken littling it. The sky is falling because, we've had murder hornets. We've had severe droughts. but to tell of God's works and the power that's going on, how God is working in this world, I think of those stretcher bearers, and we think about the people who are doing amazing work. We think of all the people who are working in the hospitals and and first responders and those people that are really genuinely caring for our neighborhoods. And that's God working through them and on them, and like we've got to do I think we've got to do a better job at recognizing that. So like this is a good time to do that because we can actually stop and reflect, and we're not necessarily moving on to the next event. And I really want to encourage people, be more open to where you see God at work in this world, and don't be afraid to share it. Like I think we're too afraid to share it. We're great at complaining and bitching about everything, but we're not really good at sharing God's glory in this world. And I mean, there is a lot of good going on in this world. I know it's hard to see, but that's what the media wants you to see. They want you to see the negative, so you'll be fearful and buy the product that's being pushed on you, whether you realize it or not. But we need to be aware, like, and just share with what's going on, what's good going on in your community, because there is good going on in your community. And I think that's the things we really need to be aware of.
Well, and I think that's the thing that this psalm pulls out is this fullness of who God is and where God is, right? For the fullness of humanity, for the fullness of creation, God cares for you, right? We asked the question a lot on this podcast because we're Wesleyan and Methodist, and we reflect a lot about where do we see God at work today. We're in this world, or however you frame the question, and we're, like Matt said, we're bad about actually answering that question. We want to piss and moan, we want to complain, we want to pull the negative out because culturally, societally, that tends to be our focus. What is bad so we can fix the bad, right? Back when I had a real job and worked in business, I had a customer tell me once, one oh shit will rule out 10 attaboys, right? And it's true. We focus on the one bad thing that negates all of the good things that are going on. And so when we look at this COVID world, when we look at the world without COVID, how do we find where God is at work? And rather than focusing on, oh my God, the world is burning down, where do we see the moments in which God is picking us up? Where God is allowing a space to rest, so that we can then go into this world. And especially with COVID, we've been given an opportunity. We talk about this every week, it seems, to slow down, to reset, to evaluate what's going on in our own lives and our own ministries and all of these places, and say what is life-giving and what is not. And here we are. We're hitting the summer months. COVID isn't getting any better. In fact, in most places where you're listening to this, numbers are going up, and people aren't wearing masks, and people aren't tending to one another out of selfishness and out of pride. And how do we look around this world that's just seemingly on fire and go, where's God in all of this? And I think you see it in the compassion of people. I think you see it in the movement of first responders and nurses, and our neighbor walking down the street with a mask on, making sure that we're tending to one another. You see it in phone trees of churches who aren't physically gathering, but are making phone calls and checking on one another, making sure each other has food and supplies and ear to talk to. Because right now, being so isolated, even in bigger cities, we're isolated and alone and tired and depressed and fearful. And a phone call, a text message, a Facebook message, whatever it is, can make a difference, does make a difference. It may make all the difference in the world for the person you're contacting, or the person who contacted you, right? And so I think I take a look at this psalm, and it's that fullness of creation that God has grace for. And how do we look around and go, oh, hey, there it is. Oh, hey, there we see it.
So I think a good thing to reflect on today, and to share, where do you see good going on in the world? Because it's easy to share the share button of things that are going on that are negative, or like negative thoughts. But how can we share positive thoughts with this world, so they can see it? Because man, we've done a really good job of tearing things down, and I think it's time we really need to focus on what we can do to share the good things that are going on in this world, and because there are a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of good come out, but just to be aware of that, I think would be a good thing to share. And so I encourage you to do that. Check out our website at beardedtheologians.com. We've got a lot of great content up. We've got some really good podcasts, and some items you can purchase to buy for whatever it is you want to, whatever you need. If you need a gift for an incoming pastor or whatever, feel free to pick them up a gift. And so for the Bearded Theologians, I'm Matt Franks.
I'm Zach Bechtold. Thanks for checking us out.
First, guys, I want you to subscribe and like this video, and push that thumbs up.
Thank you for listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all social media outlets. You can check out old episodes and more information at beardedtheologians.com. Thanks for checking us out.